കേരള സംസ്ഥാനം മറ്റൊരു നിയമസഭാ തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിൻ്റെ മധ്യത്തിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നു. തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പ് ചൂടിൻ്റെ പാരമ്യത്തിലെത്തി നിൽക്കുന്ന ഈ സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് കേരളം ഭരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഇടതുപക്ഷ ജനാധിപത്യ മുന്നണി ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിന് ഒരു ഭരണ തുടർച്ച നൽകണമെന്ന് സമ്മതിദായകരോട് അഭ്യർത്ഥിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി കേരളത്തിൽ പല സ്ഥലങ്ങളിലായി സമ്മതിദായകരുടെ ഇടയിൽ അഭ്യർത്ഥന നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് നീങ്ങുന്ന CPIM പോളിറ്റ് ബ്യൂറോ മെമ്പറും ഇന്ത്യയിലെ സ്ത്രീ ശാക്തീകരണത്തിനും സ്ത്രീകളുടെ ജനാധിപത്യ സാമൂഹിക അവകാശങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി അടരാടുന്ന മുഖ്യമുഖങ്ങളിൽ ഒരാളായ ശ്രീമതി വൃന്ദ കാരറ്റ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടുകൂടി ചേരുകയാണ്. ഈ തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിൽ കേരളത്തിലുടനീളം കാണുന്ന രാഷ്ട്രീയ വിഷയങ്ങൾ, സാമൂഹ്യ വിഷയങ്ങൾ, ഈ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിന് എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു തുടർഭരണം ലഭിക്കും എന്ന വിശ്വാസത്തിൻ്റെ കാരണങ്ങൾ എന്താണെന്ന് നമ്മളോട് പങ്കുവയ്ക്കാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളോട് ചേരുകയാണ്. സ്വാഗതം മാം.
Thank you so much.
You have been traveling across the state in the last few days. What is your assessment of the mood of the people?
I think people are very positive about the LDF, and they seem to have made up their minds that they again want the LDF to come into government under the leadership of Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan. Wherever I am going, the kind of response that we are getting, and very specifically from women, it's quite extraordinary.
What would be the reason for the massive women support that this government is likely to get?
I think the most important issue is that at the time of gravest distress, at the time of gravest crisis, in a patriarchal society, women tend to have to bear the heaviest burden. And so for women to have a government which is uncompromisingly in favor of helping and bringing relief to women, to families, and to society at large, I think has given a lot of confidence to women, especially if they compare what is happening with women in other parts of India.
Kerala has a record of electing governments and changing governments after 5 years. What qualifies the government of Sri Pinarayi Vijayan to retain power this time and create a record?
I think as far as the people of Kerala are concerned, they have seen that some very, very important initiatives for the development of Kerala have been initiated and led by this government. For example, in Delhi we have the BJP RSS government. They keep talking about Digital India. But Digital India is also a digital divide of India. Digital India has helped the rich sections. Digital India has completely excluded the poor and even the middle classes. But here in Kerala, what we have seen in this entire period of pandemic and even before that is a vision that new technology will have material use only if it can be shared by the widest section of citizens. So this whole approach to the knowledge economy is not an elitist approach as it is in other parts of India. It is strengthening infrastructure for the knowledge economy for the betterment of ordinary citizens of Kerala. What is K-phone? I mean, you are going to get internet free in 20 lakh households. You are going to get subsidized internet in every household of Kerala. That is going to be an enormous accretion for people of Kerala to access technology which may help them, including schools, including smart schoolrooms, including smart blackboards. So that is one aspect, education and technology. But even much more than that, for the poor, what is this politics in our country today? All the resources of India are being used to help Adani and Ambani. You come to Kerala, Trivandrum Airport, Adani Airport, in spite of everything we've done. We opposed it. But this is Modi government, Adani Airport. If it is left to them and the Congress party, they will sell Kerala. So, protection of public sector, protection of existing jobs, creation of new jobs, help to farmers when the rest of India farmers are suffering. Here we are giving 2,800 rupees MSP. So, every section, I believe, in Kerala, which required some help from the government has been there to provide it. So that is why I believe that people want this as a foundation and they want the same government to build on it. Now if Congress comes, they've said we'll destroy KIFBI. So all housing will stop, all road building will stop, all smart schools will stop, everything will stop. So people don't want to take that risk. Remember, Congress time 600 rupees was the pension. Today it is 1600 rupees. So people know that. So I believe that, you see, it depends on people's will. And if the people strongly believe, as I think they do, that this government has benefited them, and to take a risk now to vote anybody else who are totally against these policies which have helped them, I don't think it's going to happen.
Ma'am, is it the absence of anti-incumbency against this government or the absence of a strong opposition in the state that is standing beneficial to the LDF government?
I don't believe in these terms of anti-incumbency and all that. Frankly, these are psephological terms used by election experts. As far as we are concerned, are the people angry with this government? No, they are not. Has the government done a single thing which is against the people's interests? No, it is not. So I don't think there is much room for discontent, and that is why the opposition has become, what should I say? They have become totally irrational, to put it mildly and put it politely. Unreasoned, irrational opposition. They are carrying with them a lie manufacturing machine. Mr. Ramesh Chenitala, he charges it every night, I think. The special charger also he has got. That charger connects with the BJP charger also. So they are both charging machines, how to manufacture more and more lies. Nothing else is manufactured in this state by the BJP and Congress. No work for the people. But they have a lie manufacturing factory. Every day they are telling lies. And I cannot think that on the eve of Easter, on the eve of Vishu, government has a policy, not just now, even at the time of Onam last year and before that. Naturally, additional food grains, additional food kit is required. Is it not? More expenses are there in a household at the time of a festival. So government is saying, we are giving you that food kit to help you. This is nothing to do with elections, it's to do with their policy.
The leader of the opposition has alleged that this government has been resorting to hoarding of the food grains which should have been distributed earlier.
Completing this point, that letter that he wrote to Election Commission, Mr. Chenitala, stop the food grains for the festive season. That shows he is not opposition leader to government. He is opposition leader against the people's interests. I call Mr. Chenitala opposition against people. That is what he is.
Do you think that the humane face of this government, which you have highlighted now, will be able to overcome the plethora of allegations that were leveled against this government?
You see, it's not comparing one with the other. Because of humanity, the allegations, people will forget. No. Look at the allegations. What are the allegations? Is any single allegation after all these months, has a single thing been proved against any single person? The only people who have been arrested, they are supporters, one of them was supporter of the BJP. And he also has said in a statement that they are putting pressure on me. ED is putting pressure on me to implicate LDF leaders. So, in every single case, people have seen that in spite of whatever the hype, and especially media hype, where is the truth? It's like a gas balloon. It can fly so high, but ultimately it's going to burst. And not only has it burst, it is boomeranged on them. Have you ever seen a single individual being pilloried, being criticized, being attacked in the most foul language, in the most horrible charges? But that individual, he has faced it. And he has continued his work for the people, and that individual is the Chief Minister of Kerala, and he will be the future Chief Minister also. I think that is the people's verdict. It is not my prophecy. It is what people are saying.
The CPIM and the LDF, which has been piloting the course of communal harmony in this country, is now being accused of by none other than veteran Congress leader and the former Chief Minister A.K. Antony of resorting to social divide among the communities for winning elections. How do you respond to it?
See, Mr. Antony, he is a very senior Congress leader. And naturally, everybody will respect it. At least we have been taught in our culture, whoever it is, a senior person like Mr. Antony, obviously we will respect. But what to say about Mr. Antony? He's been away from Kerala for quite a long time. Now he has come to Kerala. I think he requires somebody to help him take a tour of Kerala, because this is a new Keralam. And I think we have many people here who can offer to take Mr. Antony and take him to the schools, to the primary health centers, which are family health centers, to the iPhone, K-phone, everything. And if I am not wrong, I would like to remind Mr. Antony, was it not you who wrote a report for the Congress party after the debacle in 2014 as to what are the reasons why the Congress has lost? And was it not you, Mr. Antony, according to the press reports which I read, who wrote in that report, the Congress is taken as appeasing certain minorities. So now we have to reverse that. And after your report, Mr. Antony, is it not true that the Congress party has started soft Hindutva? So I think Mr. Antony should reread his report. Who is trying to divide people socially? Who is trying to bring their own political party on a track which uses religion in politics? Who is that party who is using all religious symbols? What did Mr. Kamal Nath do in Madhya Pradesh? Suddenly we are hearing who is the Hanuman Bhakt. What did Priyanka Gandhi do? Now we are suddenly hearing that Ganga Maiya ki jo hai boat ride is going. What is this? If you believe in a particular religion, the constitution gives you the right. You please practice that religion. Why do you take photographers with you to photograph you doing it? Does a bhakt of any god take photographers with them to the temple? Does any woman who goes to the temple, does she take a photographer with them to show that she is going to the temple? These are gimmicks which are dangerous because they are doing what BJP is doing, which is mixing religion with politics. The Congress is playing with fire and it is getting burnt.
But you are together.
That is why, sorry, if I just complete this sentence very quickly, the Congress is getting burnt, and that is why the de-ideologization of the Congress party, its lack of any anchor, they are all joining BJP. They are running to BJP. BJP is doing the worst thing in this country by destroying democracy with black money and with powerful money. But why the Congress is willing to play that game. Why Congress is, their MLAs are selling out and joining. Why Surendran should say, give me 35 seats, I will buy the rest. Why? BJP is the enemy of democracy. But why Congress is playing that game?
I'm sure you are upset by the Congress's rather refusal to stand along with the left parties in the fight against communal forces. That's what you have been highlighting now. Now what happens in Bengal, where you are together fighting the BJP and the TMC?
You see, I think people in Kerala must understand the situation in Bengal. In Bengal, in 2011, the Congress, the TMC, the BJP, the Maoists, the RSS, there was a very broad-based coalition with a one-point program to defeat the left-run government. Congress was part of that. They were allied with those parties, including the BJP. And their one point was destroy the communists. And they succeeded. I don't say only because of that. We made our own mistakes, but I'm not going into that review here. We have done our review, a self-critical review. But from 2011 to 2021, what has changed? In these 10 years, the TMC had a one-point program to attack and destroy communists. And it is a shameful chapter in India's democracy that it was unreported. I would like to tell your viewers, 1 lakh false cases are there till today against our comrades. At least 20,000 comrades of Bengal cannot go back to their homes. 225 have been killed. Women have been raped. And in that period, where the TMC was attacking the communists, the BJP and the RSS were helped to enter Bengal. When we were there in Bengal, there was no single communal incident.
That's true.
But today, Bengal is being communally divided because of the TMC and its policies. The Congress realized in Bengal that what they did in 2011, going with TMC and BJP, they must have reviewed it. And after reviewing it, they may have come to the conclusion that what we did was not correct, so they have changed their tactics in Bengal. And as far as we are concerned, we have said, Bengal, if the BJP comes to Bengal, it is responsibility of TMC, so we have to fight both of them. And therefore, not only Congress, we have involved all forces to come together in Bengal to join hands with the left front to save Bengal. So as far as we are concerned, there is no shift in our stand. That much I can say.
Sticking to the national scenario, how important you find the elections in Bengal and in Kerala is it for the left movement in this country?
I don't think I will compare the two at present, because in Kerala we represent alternative government, alternative framework, and a record of governance for 5 years. So we are going to the people on the basis of our own record. In Bengal, we have been in opposition since 2011. We have fought for the people of Bengal. And therefore, in Bengal, our fight is to strengthen democracy and secularism in Bengal.
You have always been the face of the women empowerment and the battle for the rights of women. How happy are you with the share of the women in
I
the LDF
can
today?
never be happy. Let me make it very clear to you. I can be happy that there's an improvement. I can be happy that where we were 20 years ago and where we are today, there's undoubtedly and improvement in every sphere. So yes, I am happy that my party has recognized the importance of addressing the weaknesses of patriarchal notions in society, which get reflected in politics also. I am happy about that. But I cannot say in any case that the representation of women in public life, in decision-making bodies, that I am happy about.
So the battle will go on.
The battle is on.
Oh.
The battle will go on. The battle is not of this or that individual. And when I see our women in politics, I tell you, the most inspiring and energizing thing for me in this entire election is to see how women are coming out. It's not easy. Now I've just finished a meeting, it's late in the evening, but the women continue to be there. They have to go home. You don't have to go home and cook. But in this patriarchal society is such, and domestic work is such a burden. My belief is that what the Chief Minister of Kerala had said during the pandemic, domestic work has to be shared. Don't put the burden on women. So if we want more women in politics, men have to understand they have to share domestic responsibility. And I hope, at least it's a hope, that because Kerala,
Chief Minister has given a special
he has.
aid to the homemakers.
That is important, because to give a pension for homemakers is certainly a recognition of that work. That is important, but that is not the answer. Certainly, we definitely want pension for homemakers, and we congratulate LDF Manifesto for including that. We want it, but that is not the answer. The answer is domestic work must be shared. The culture of patriarchy in the kitchen has to be changed. I'm also happy that now we are going to get smart kitchens in Kerala, so at least some of the burden. I think men will find it easier to run a washing machine than to sit down and wash clothes. So maybe smart kitchens will also help men to come into the kitchen and do some more work.
Coming to a more serious issue.
But that's not serious.
No,
is
that's
it?
also more serious, I say.
It's a very serious issue.
That could be the most serious issue.
Ah.
Now, what I'm saying is, this state government has been accused by its critics, politically or socially, that this government has always been on a coalition course with the center. How different is the treatment that the state government, for that matter, whether it is Kerala or any other non-BJP ruled states, what kind of a treatment do you think they are being meted out by the center? Why is the coalition course?
See, the coalition is for what reason? And it is not just Kerala which is suffering. If you look at the Constitution of India, in which it is a federal constitution, of course there are limited rights the states have. But as far as finances are concerned, there is a tradition and there are rules about the share of the states in the financial resources of this country. The central government, in its greed for power, its greed for corporatization, its greed to snatch the resources of the states, has ridden roughshod over the rights of the states. Look at GST. Now, it is in the law. They have to give the compensation to the states. Kerala had to demand it. That is not confrontation. That is simply asking for the law to be implemented. Look at this cess on petrol and diesel. 2.94 lakh crore rupees they have got in 1 year. States will not get any share of that, but people's pocket is picked by the central government, this pickpocket government. So and then, as far as central schemes are concerned, it was 70-30. They have made it 60-40. And even that they are squeezing. They are not giving. They are putting conditions. charge user fees, don't give free electricity. They are putting conditions. It is in Hindi, there is a saying, तुम्हारा बाप का पैसा नहीं है. This is not your father's money. This is the Constitution of India. You are duty bound to give to the states, and you are depriving. Even Manrega, the wage payments for Kerala Manrega workers, 90% are women. They are not giving the wage payments from the center. There's a backlog of wages here. Constantly we are asking. We have the highest utilization of Manrega funds here in Kerala. So what will the Chief Minister and state government do?
That's when it comes to the fiscal rights of the states. But there has also been issues and incidents where state legislatures have been passing resolutions raising a question mark on the center-state federal relationship.